one of them things that happens, you know.
It sounds like it's the same, or you know what I mean? You don't really understand, no, there's a
Yeah,
difference.
you don't understand until you know, you recognize that it.
There it goes, my man.
Did you happen to see a notice in the paper about this? I called, our staff, and they sent out a press release, I think it was Wednesday, but then I never saw it. Did you see it?
And I sent out a press release, but they always
Not
ignore
unless
stuff.
it had been on that east or, is there a north side one too, maybe?
It's northeast.
East and north.
Northeast,
Yeah.
no,
Hey.
I usually go through that fairly good, you know.
I heard they thought with Kayla and
Yeah.
she was so excited, oh my goodness. 'Cause when they called her,
Well, it's 5 minutes to 10. Something told me
you know,
not to set
that's
up
just
any
like
more chairs
thrilled
than
her,
this.
so, yeah.
It is the holidays.
I know that, but I just, we need to start having forums on this side of town.
We do.
So
You
this
are
is
right.
a beginning.
And we need to educate people, so, you know.
So we'll keep doing it. And we can do them in various places I was talking to.
Yeah.
Heather doesn't have to be here all the time, I just had the space available, so. We had one when, Jack and Akale and I did forums. We had one at the library, we had one at East, and we had, the East Village, yeah. So we can move around too, to make it more accessible to.
I remember talking to John Connors when I first ran. I said, John, maybe we could have these forums together. He said, you bring up them damn forums, I won't even vote for you.
He didn't like them or what?
No, he didn't, he had too much to do on Saturday.
When Jack Hatch was doing them, sometimes when the topic was something I wanted to know more about, I would go.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing happening on my side of town. So,
There you are.
Well, I don't know. I tried to get Rick, and he kind of said the same thing to me, that. No!
But, you know, I think sometimes that the forms have to be more discussion.
Hi, how are you?
This is more of a discussion where it's more formal and people ask questions. I think we have to change. As people come, you know, and they get the same old, you know, I think we need to do like, you know, circle, you know, type of thing in a forum.
Okay, I thought,
You know,
okay.
yeah, and
I get
more
it.
of an interaction, you
Yeah.
know, and discussion, rather than just shooting questions and then getting out. You know.
well, and I think if your audience changes a little bit, most of us are very comfortable talking to any of you about any
Exactly.
topic.
Yeah.
But some people, it's a strain.
It is.
It is.
We need to develop that comfort level.
Exactly, and I think there's just ways we can do it, you know. One thing is, you know, it wouldn't hurt if somebody would like even host a forum in their home.
I would do that.
Yeah,
Oh, you would? Good.
yeah.
I'd do that.
See, I think that adds, you know, more, you know, you got a little comfort and tea and.
Although
know.
you would have to consider those who don't drive, who rely on public transportation.
Yeah,
That's
You would have
true.
to think about that.
right.
Having it close to a bus line.
accessible to bus routes and stuff though.
Well, I mean, that would just be
Relatively.
one. You know, you do several different places, but, you know, you do a home and, you know, that type of thing. It just makes it, I don't know, it just makes it different and it makes it accessible to a whole lot of people.
Less formal,
Yeah.
more connected.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you can
I
do
like
it
that
like
idea.
we did before, like, you know.
Yeah.
Like you said, you know, we can go to East Village and do one.
Yeah.
You know.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah, just have, but make it fun.
Right.
Yeah. We have fun.
Yeah.
More people come.
Yeah, they will. And then they hear about it, the next one, more people will come, and that's why I thought we should go ahead with today, no matter what.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
people will
absolutely,
hear
yeah.
about it, and then the next one will have more people.
Well, unfortunately, Caitlin is streaming for us.
And that's great. I forgot.
Oh, I should have worn a suit.
No.
Well, it's not quite 10 yet. Do you have 10? Is it 10 o'clock?
I have 10.
Okay.
Should I get started?
Sure, because maybe a few more people will join us, will give us more time to converse.
And there is a sign-in sheet too, for you all to sign in too.
Pass it around.
It doesn't have like anything hard to.
He unlocked the doors for me. I was afraid when I got there that the doors would be locked.
So this is our super informal meeting. Student representatives, it's first time we've got this. So our representatives, Representative Gaines, and Senator Dearden, and thank them for coming today and speaking with the public regarding upcoming legislative term and potentially ideas that you might have for legislation that can be introduced or advanced. At least these representatives attempted to advance. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Ms. Gaines, since this is.
Don't call me Miss Gaines. You call me Ruth Ann now.
I cannot.
Okay.
It's just wrong. So, Ms. Gaines, you can take it away.
Welcome, everyone. We thought, the three of us thought that we might be doing this part of town a service by having forums occasionally throughout the session to hear from you on ideas and to hear back from you. So I think I'll begin by telling you what committees I serve on, and then pass it down to Senator Dearden and then Representative Abdul Samad. We can also mention, if some of you are already working on some legislation, we might want to tell the people things that we're already thinking about. I'm the baby in the group. This will be my 6th session, the end of my 3rd term. I started, I know it's moving, isn't it? I started in 2011, and I serve on the Education Committee, which is kind of obvious since I was an educator and I still teach. I'm also on Public Safety, Veterans Affairs. I'm the ranking member of Government Oversight, and there's another one that I'm leading, Human Resources. And I really, I guess, cater to education because I'm more familiar with it and I know more about it, and people in the community, when they contact me about issues that concern them, it's usually education issues because they know of my background. So there are some bills that I have proposed almost every year since I've been there, and then there are a couple new ones. One of the things that will come up now for the 3rd year is incorporating fine arts into the Iowa Core. It always passes the Senate, but it never passes the House. And you all know that research shows that when young people are involved in the fine arts, it motivates them to do well in all of their other courses. So, I don't know what the problem is, but we'll try it again and see if that's a bill that can pass. We worked really, really hard on it last year, but that's one of the main things I would like to see. I'd also like to have Iowa history as a part of the curriculum for high school seniors. We're one of the few states that doesn't include state history in their requirement for graduation. I worked with a group called Jordan Scholars, who are a group of 17 juniors from around the metro, and one of their major purposes in being created by a group of educators is to get them to know more about their own history. So they are studying every month. They study a certain part of what is probable and popular in Iowa, like education, government, agriculture, insurance, the economy. So, that made me start thinking, why don't we in Iowa promote our own history? So that's another form of legislation that I'm looking at in education. I've always believed that educators should have more cultural competency training. I became a teacher in 1971, and that was before we had the human relations component. In 1980, the state made, as a part of licensure, a requirement that every teacher have human relations training. Well, it's now 2016, you might as well say, and we're still calling it human relations. But we have grown in our understanding of relationships between diverse groups, and I think it should be called cultural competency. Right now, certain human relation courses that teachers take to fulfill that requirement have the cultural competency component, but then there are other human relations courses that don't. So I think if we change even the title from human relations to cultural competency, then every teacher would be getting the same kind of training and be more equipped to deal with our students in the classroom to make Iowa classrooms more culturally welcoming to every student. Because you know, in the last 25 years, Iowa has become a lot more diverse with its population of students, and many teachers don't take any courses at all, and so they don't know really how to deal with the differences. And that leads me to another education piece that I would like to see, and that's when licensure renewal comes up for a teacher every 5 years. There's 6 credits. I think that one of those credits should be mandatory in the area of cultural competency, because you can never get enough. And 1 credit hour is only 15 contact hours. So I think that's a minimum every 5 years. And there are other bills that I'm interested in, but I'll stop talking and move to Senator Dearden.
Well, I serve on, I'm chairman of the Natural Resources and Environment. I'm ranked here, and I'm the vice chair of, on the Senate side of Natural Resources Appropriations. I also serve on state government, transportation, and ethics, which is where nobody wants that job. The hardest thing to do is a fellow senator that's up on ethics charges, and you know, when you got a guy like Sorensen, and you try to put that out of your mind that he's a rotten but you're the one that has to judge the guy. And I will give credit to Sandy Reiner, a Republican on the Senate Ethics Committee. It's 3 and 3, so 3 Ds and 3 Rs. And Sandy was the only R that said, no, we need a special investigator on that. And we contacted the Supreme Court, and they put someone in. They're the ones that makes the appointment. I'm not sure that Sorensen would have got busted if it wasn't for Sandy. So I told Sandy she should get a profile and courage award. And she said, but you know, Dick, she said, I know how it feels now when the Amish shun you. And she said, all I have to do is go in my caucus.
You can come over to the Democratic Party. It's fine.
Some of the couple things I'm working on this year. So many times I've got a lot of bills out there that we could maybe pass in the Senate, and it didn't go anywhere. So a couple of things I will work on this year is I've got a bill drafting for bike trails, that there would be to use any bike trail in the state of Iowa, if you're over 16 years of age, there would be a $25 fee to use those if there's any state money in it, and that money then would be earmarked for repair of bike trails. My eye doctor asked me, well, you know, what are they, you know, he had a friend that was in Neil Smith Trail, and he had a rut in the trail, and he said, I thought he was dead. He would have been without a helmet, but he says it knocked him out. You know, they had to you know, call ambulances, everything to get him out. So I just never thought, you know, well, we keep building bike trails, but we're not doing marathon maintenance, and so that fee would be, and it would be easy enough to do. You could do it through the DNR licensing for hunting and fishing license of that. I've not talked to, before I go too far with it, I want to talk to some of the biking groups and see if they'll support it. There's no sense in going on with a bill that nobody supports.
Can I ask a question about that?
Sure.
Because I'm a biker, I cycle a lot, I use the trail, along the trail, but I'm curious because we
we don't charge people to go to Union Park and go down Rocket Slide. I mean, I feel like the bike trails are part of the overarching parks and recreation and things like that, and I just don't feel like signaling out cyclists. I think that would make the use of the trails go down, and I think that's counterproductive, because, you know, and how is that gonna work? I mean, obviously, it's just gonna be an honor system. Are you gonna have park and rec people looking for your bicycle tax? I mean, I feel like it should be more of a, you know, it's a community service, it's a statewide service, so even if you don't utilize them, I don't think you should get out of helping to pay for them by just general tax appropriation.
But it's still, and, you know, it's $20 fee. And I never quite understood that, but, Parks and Rec's gotta make money, right? Yeah. And, so.
Would that make into consideration, because people jog on bike trails, not just people who ride, they might jog on them. Yeah, or walk, you know. And especially the city, you know, the ones that go through the city. That, you know, like that might connect from one street to another.
When you're walking, and I walk out to Copper Creek, especially when my back is better, but walking, you don't worry nearly as much about a crack in the sidewalk that your bike is gonna spill on. And when you're going 25, 30 miles an hour on a bike, and some of them do. There's some guys that, some people.
Speed demons.
Go fast.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, as I'm kind of in the middle here, I want the maintenance, I want the security, okay? But I'm not the mom anymore, but I'm a mom of Girl Scouts. If I want to take my Girl Scouts on a bike ride and we have to pay, they have to sell a lot of cookies to pay for that. You know, that's kind of.
It would be under, only over 16. It would not, this would be anyone over 16. It's the same way with the license. You don't have to have a higher fishing license in Iowa until you're 16. Once you're 16, if you only hunt once a year, fish once a year, you have to buy about a $40 license by the time you put everything on your hunting license.
And, you know, then that wouldn't discourage your users because, you know, we use the trails a lot. We want them to be nice. I don't want to tip over. And, you know, most of the bicyclists I know, I think they'd be more than happy to pay $25, $30 a year if they knew it was gonna be dedicated to the trails. I don't think that relieves the Park and Recs.
I've not seen the bike clubs or any of that posted up with the signs. We would like to be taxed, or we wanna pay money, to do that. And like I say, I'm gonna run this by some biking groups and that in the state. It's not something I'm gonna push just to punish bikers. You know, obviously, the shape I'm in, I'm not the greatest example of somebody being a bicyclist.
You could always get a trike.
Get a trike?
Yeah, I got one.
But I do enjoy walking down Copper Creek